Today I'm going to be covering a FNAF classic. The FNAF 1-3 era is such a nostalgic time for me and many Five Nights at Freddy's fans. This trilogy is the most coherent storyline that the franchise has ever produced, and it features some of the best character designs, best atmosphere, best storytelling, best mechanics, the whole bundle. But it's not just the official games that trigger that sense of nostalgia, it's also the contributions from the community, the hoaxes of the time, the outdated theories, and of course, the old fan games. FNAF fan games have grown so much over time, and most of the newer ones are objectively better than most of the older ones. But you can't tell me you don't get a wave of nostalgia thinking back on the more janky, less polished fan games. Games like Five Nights at Wario's and the original Five Nights at Treasure Island are so garbage, but there will always be a part of me that loves them because they're such classics. And there are some classics that genuinely hold up, like Candy's 1, Flumpty's 1 and 2, and Five Nights at Fuckboys. But every game that I just listed has at least been remembered. Even Wario's has had new entries that people continue to play, and everyone can easily identify the originals. But today's subject has been erased from the memory of pretty much every FNAF fan, despite how big it was in its era. We're talking about Bonnie Simulator. Bonnie Simulator is a FNAF fan game from early 2015 made by eGross. That's my best guess at pronouncing the name, don't judge me. The game is almost entirely taken from FNAF 1, but the gameplay is essentially reversed. You control the movements of Bonnie as an AI controls the night guard. The game mostly takes place in the camera system, which acts as a map to jump from room to room. There's a timer that counts down when you're allowed to move again, and the camera that the night guard is looking at is also highlighted. How helpful is that second part? Not very. You travel down the map until you reach the office, and you either attack, or get the door closed on you and start over. If you haven't heard of this game, you might be thinking, so you click boxes and move and random chance decides your fate? How is that even really a game? And I would say, shut up, this is my childhood! This game hasn't aged the best, and does consist of very little gameplay, but it is honestly satisfying and fun in its own way. I 100%ed this game for this video, and I did legitimately have some fun. It's laid back and chill, you can just go with the flow and play along. What makes this game genuinely enjoyable and replayable is that it does have a point system. Depending on your gameplay and some random chance, you will earn a certain amount of points for each win. You can use these points to unlock items and additional gameplay. The main unlockables that are worth focusing on are Springtrap and Hard Mode. Springtrap doesn't change up the gameplay that much, but it keeps the game fresh, which is obviously important when the game is as repetitive as it is. The game does a decent job at putting Springtrap in the FNAF 1 location, and it's a good way of utilizing the rooms that Bonnie can't access. You still just jump from room to room until you reach the office and either win or lose. What I value most is the Hard Mode. The game is still run by random chance for the most part, but when I play the hard mode, it does honestly feel like my actions matter. I found that spending more time in the camera as opposed to running straight for the office actually increased my chances of winning. Once I discovered that, the pattern sort of repeated, but there does seem to be some more skill involved when you play hard mode. There are also 4 little items that you can unlock that you can utilize during gameplay. Using the Freddy plush makes the guard lose power, the Bonnie plush lowers your movement timer so you can move sooner, the Foxy plush moves Foxy to his next stage so he has the potential to run out and kill the guard, and the Chica plush makes the night last longer. The only plush that works when playing a Springtrap is the Bonnie plush, and it kind of stuns the guard for a second, but it really isn't that helpful. These little unlockables also make the game more replayable, and I was genuinely having a fun time with them. I was able to switch up how I played using the Bonnie plush because I could strategize when to lower the timer. I tried to get Foxy to kill the night guard, but unfortunately the door was always closed on him, the guard wasn't dumb enough. However, I was able to drain all the guard's power and win using Freddy, which was cool. So despite this game being ridiculously simplistic, there are 2 characters to play as that alter your gameplay, there's a hard mode, there are 4 unlockables that alter your gameplay, and there are multiple ways of winning because of the unlockables. This game is small and hasn't aged that well, but there's enough content to play around with for a decent amount of time. This game obviously isn't amazing, I just have a lot of nostalgia for it, but it's still special even if it is just nostalgia. This is one of the first FNAF fan games I ever played, and it was one of the only big ones back in the day. This was 2015 before FNAF 4 was even out. Sure, there was Candy's 1 and Flumpty's 1, which have aged relatively well, but this was before Pop Goes, before The Joy of Creation, before Final Nights, before the FNAF fan game scene was significantly large in the slightest. Bonnie Simulator is a cute little classic that I remember so vividly. There was actually a Bonnie Simulator 2 planned, and there is a demo for it on GameJolt. I'm not sure why this game was never finished, but it's probably for the best that it was. Again, I have a soft spot for Bonnie Simulator, and if the sequel came out really quickly, it probably would have been fine, but another Bonnie Simulator definitely wasn't needed. Bonnie Simulator was going to take place in the FNAF 2 location, and you'd be able to play as Toy Bonnie and Withered Bonnie. The game is unfinished, so I can't judge it harshly, but there wasn't a lot of promise with this demo. Toy Bonnie could only go to like 3 cameras, there was very little room to think about your movements. And Withered Bonnie could also only go to like 3 cameras, and when I reached the office as Withered Bonnie, there was no way for me to win. Once again, the game was never finished, but there was no way for me to attack as Withered Bonnie every time I played it. There was also no real point system or unlockables in this build of the game, so Bonnie Simulator 2 was never finished, but despite my love for the first game, I don't really have a problem with the sequel being cancelled. So that's all I have to say about this classic FNAF fan game. Bonnie Simulator isn't amazing, and it makes complete sense that it fell far behind games like Candy's, but this game is just so special to me as a longtime FNAF fan because I look back on this older material quite fondly. I just wanted to talk about this memory of mine because this game has been completely forgotten since its release. Thank you so much for watching this video, I hope you had a good time. Let me know what the first FNAF fan game you ever played was in the comments below. Please hit like and subscribe to show some support, it really means a lot. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at I'mTheBaddest or click the links in the description. Thank you for watching once again, I'll see you guys next time.